Hey Frag fam, Corbin here again from Northwest Scent. Well, we're about a month out from summer now, which means the heat is cranking up. I don't know about where you guys are at, but here in Oregon recently it has been pretty hot. The last few days it actually has been cooler and raining, but this last weekend we got a ton of heat. It was up in the 80s, and we usually don't see that until about middle of summertime. So it's been very, very hot, and I thought it would be an appropriate time to start talking about our summer fragrances. So that's exactly what we're doing here today. This is gonna be my top 10 niche fragrances for the summer of 2021. From my collection, of course. So if you're interested to hear about this list of niche fragrances perfect for this upcoming summer, please stick around. But first, let's roll that intro. Alright, welcome back. So like I said in the intro, this is my top 10 niche fragrances for this upcoming summer here in 2021. These are all really solid, and these are probably the fragrances that you will see me reaching for the most for this upcoming summer. Additionally, before we get into the list of fragrances, I did change around my lighting a little bit, and you guys probably have noticed that already. If you prefer this, please let me know. I'm just trying to change things around and see what works better. If you guys like it, please let me know. If you like my usual lighting better, please let me know. I'm always open to changes and suggestions. So with that out of the way, let's get into this list of 10 fragrances. And starting the list off here at the number 10 spot, this is coming from the house of Xerjoff. This is Uden. Now, man, that smells so good. I'm putting this at the back of the list here, not because I think it's a bad fragrance. This is not a rank list by any means. Like my typical style, I don't really do rank lists a ton. This is one that I'm just not as familiar with, so that's why it's here at the number 10 spot. Brand new bottle to me. I just picked it up last week. I have sampled it before, which is why I knew I liked it and why I actually went for the full bottle. Now, this is a really interesting summer citrusy fragrance. So it is very bright and vibrant off the get-go. It doesn't wear super light. It actually does have a little bit of this density to it, even from the opening, but you can tell it is very vibrant and citrusy. However, this is actually a citrusy kind of fresh fragrance that does develop and actually darken up a little bit. So as it dries down, you get rum, there's Gaiac wood in here, there's even coffee in the note breakdown, and then vanilla. I almost get like an aromatic touch from this in a way, not even close to a barbershop fragrance or anything like that, or a chypre, but it does kind of have this aromatic quality to it, which I can't really pinpoint. But nonetheless, as it dries down, it definitely does darken up a little bit, but I think this is still very appropriate for the warm weather, for the summertime. I think you could pull this off in the high heat, maybe not the highest of heat, but definitely in the hot weather. That's where this thing really shines. It's a very good performer from what I can tell so far. Like I said, it kind of has this like density to it in a way, even from the opening. It just smells fantastic. This is a very sophisticated citrusy fragrance, if that makes any sense. It doesn't just smell like another Versace Mano Fresh or Dior Homme Cologne, where it's very light and airy. It is citrusy, it is kind of vibrant, but it has this density to it, which once you try this, you'll know what I'm talking about. And it smells absolutely amazing. So this is one that I'm really looking forward to wearing this summer, and that is my number 10 pick. So again, from the house of Xerjoff, this is Uden. So up next here at the number 9 spot, we have a brand new release. This honestly just got released a few weeks ago, so not too many people have been able to try it yet. I think it's a pretty solid fragrance, and it's gonna be perfect for the summertime because that's exactly when it was designed to be worn. This one is from the house of Creed. This is the brand new Viking Cologne. And if you're looking for something very similar to the original Viking, but freshened up, this is not the fragrance. Honestly, I don't get hardly any similarity between this one and the original Viking, especially in the opening. And I'm not the only person that I've talked to that has said that. Justin Copeland did a first impressions as well, and we were talking about this fragrance. We both agree. The opening of this is kind of strange, not because it smells weird, but just because it smells like a completely different fragrance. Nonetheless, it is very pleasant. You get a ton of citruses here in the opening, like mandarin orange, lemon, and bergamot. Although to my nose, the lemon is definitely the most prominent. It's very tart and kind of zesty, has like this juicy quality to it. There's a little bit of this green kind of herbaceousness coming from some rosemary. There's actually a touch of sweetness in here as well, coming from some sage. I'm not saying this is a sweet fragrance by any means, so please don't take that as what I'm trying to say here. I'm just saying there is a touch of sweetness. I think Creed fragrances in general are known to be pretty dry and fresh. You know, they don't have a ton of richness to them. And while this is not a rich fragrance, there is a touch of sweetness that, at least to me, is noticeable. You do get some lavender and geranium in here, although to me those aren't really as noticeable in the opening as much as in the dry down. And the dry down is really where you see more of the similarity between this fragrance and then the original Viking. So for me, I do prefer the dry down on this one, and I actually do still prefer the original Viking. but I can objectively say that this is the better fragrance of the two for the warm weather. And honestly, a ton of people that I've been talking to nowadays honestly really like this one a lot. I've even seen people say this is their new favorite Creed. So take that as you will. It is a really solid fragrance, honestly. I am glad I have it in my collection, and you'll definitely be seeing me wear this more in this upcoming summer here in 2021. So again, here at the number 9 spot, from the house of Creed, this is the brand new Viking Cologne. Up next here at the number 8 spot, I have another newish acquisition. I picked this one up recently as well, which is why, again, it's here at the back of the list. However, I am a little bit more familiar with this one, I think, at this point. I've done a full wearing. I've been doing test sprays seemingly every other day because this one's actually been really intriguing for me. And honestly, I do think this is probably one of my new favorite fragrances from this house. This is coming from the house of Maison Francis Kurkdjian. This is Acqua Celestia Forte. And unfortunately, I haven't tried the original version of this fragrance, just Acqua Celestia, but for this one, the Forte version, it seems pretty long lasting so far. I haven't done an exact test to see how long I can really get from it, but just based on how it projects and how strong it seems when I'm first wearing it and whatnot, I'm guessing I'm gonna get around 8-ish hours with this fragrance, so pretty solid for something this refreshing, and that's why it's here on this list. This is a very refreshing fragrance, and this has a very authentic lime note. If you like lime, which you do not see very often in fragrances, this one has it, and it does it really well. It actually smells like a fresh cut lime, and it also is blended with lemon, so you get a very juicy, zesty opening in this fragrance. Really, really nice. There's also this green side with a little bit of this herbal kick as well, coming from some petitgrain, which honestly smells a little bit soapy in a way. Sometimes petitgrain has this soapiness to it. In this fragrance, I'm getting a touch of that. And there's also mint in this fragrance, which to me is not a super like in your face mint. It's not like ultra sweet or chewing gum smelling or anything like that. It's definitely more in the background, providing kind of this icy feeling in a way. It makes this thing nice and refreshing. Once you get to the heart notes, there is a lot more of a floral aspect that you get, and honestly, you get a lot of the florals when you actually smell it from the atomizer, but in the wearing experience, I think the florals are a lot more mellow. However, they are still detectable, and there is quite a few of them. You get, I think there's jasmine in here. There is, I want to say, some lily of the valley, mimosa, and there's a few others as well. There's honestly quite a few in here, but they're not super in your face. I think definitely the lime, the lemon, and then those herbal notes I was talking about are more present. And in my opinion, this is an androgynous fragrance, which I mean, this is just down the middle unisex. This doesn't lean to one side or the other. So if you're a person that needs something that smells traditionally very feminine or traditionally very masculine, this is not the fragrance for you. I think anybody can wear this, and it's really, really pleasant. So if you're after something with a very authentic lime note with kind of this herbal soapy quality in a way, a little bit icy with kind of a floral touch in the background, you should really look into this one. Again, like I said in the beginning of this clip, I really do think this is one of my new favorites from this house. So again, from the house of Maison Francis Kurkdjian, this is Acqua Celestia Forte. So up next here at the number 7 spot, we have a fragrance that is from an indie brand. So technically, no, this is not a niche fragrance. However, I think indie and niche is kind of synonymous. You know, they both produce generally higher quality fragrances, generally more unique. This one fits both those bills. Very high quality smelling, very unique. This one is coming from the house of Imaginary Authors. This is Saint Julep. And my only issue with this fragrance really is the performance. This thing, honestly, it is so lackluster. I maybe get 4 hours of longevity, and then after that, it is completely gone. I maybe get an hour of projection, so not the best performer by any means, but while you can detect it, this thing smells really nice. And just like all of the Imaginary Authors fragrances, you can find the notes right here on the back of the bottle, which I will read to you. So you have sweet mint, tangerine, southern magnolia, bourbon, grisalva, sugar cube, and then crushed ice. Now to me, even though this is a unique fragrance, it's fairly simple. There's not a ton of complexity here. It's just very high quality and standalone smelling. And to me, what I kind of get is this faintly boozy, I really wouldn't call this bourbon. It's a very light booziness that's hard to pinpoint. It's a lot more dominated by the tangerine and then the sugar cube and then the sweet mint, which I think they're trying to pass that off as the crushed ice because there's not a super prominent minty smell here per se. Again, it's just kind of icy in a way. It's almost like this cooling effect is here in this fragrance. Smells, again, very high quality, very standalone. If you're looking for something like that, this is the fragrance to do it. It almost smells like a tropical fragrance in a way, even though it doesn't have coconut or, you know, passion fruit or some kind of exotic floral in it. It just gives me this tropical vibe, and it's very, very pleasant and uplifting. So if you're looking for something like that, you should really look at this one from the House of Imaginary Authors. Again, this is called Saint Julep. Up next here at the number 6 spot, we have a very underrated fragrance from this house. Honestly, you don't see it get much talk at all. Not only that, this is honestly one of my favorites currently from this house. I absolutely love this fragrance, and it takes a citrusy DNA and somehow makes it very well put together and very upscale smelling. This is coming from the house of Roja Parfums. This is Oligarch. And as you can see, I have the little travel atomizer. I do not have a full bottle, which really saddens me. I want to get one eventually, but for the meantime, this is holding me over. And like I said, this is a very vibrant fragrance. I mean, that's why it's here on this summer list. Of course, you get lemon, bergamot, and lime in the top. Very zesty, very citrusy. It's paired with a little bit of lavender as well, giving it, of course, an aromatic touch. It's not so much creamy here. I think it is a fresher lavender, but I really dig it here. And you also get some other fruity notes like apple and blackcurrant. So this is a very fruity and vibrant fragrance. It honestly does have a touch of sweetness coming from some vanilla as well, but this definitely leans more towards that drier side, that fruitier side. There's actually juniper berries in here as well, almost giving this like an astringent vibe. It's a little bit clean in a way, very tart, and it kind of has this bite to it. And there's some woodiness present as well, coming from some cedar. There's a ton of notes in here. I mean, I'm not even hitting half of them. This is a very complex fragrance, but one thing is certain, this smells fantastic, and honestly, this is one of the more affordable fragrances from Roja Parfums. I think you can find the full size, which is the 50 ml, for like sub 300 if you're looking in the right place, which that is very expensive, but for a Roja fragrance, that's on the more affordable end. So a really nice fragrance, very well put together. If you're looking for a citrusy, fruity fragrance that smells sophisticated, this is the one to do it. So again, here at the number 6 spot from Roja Parfums, this is Oligarch. So up next here at the number 5 spot, we have a fragrance that is admittedly discontinued. However, I have it here on this list because even though it is discontinued, the prices have not gone up yet and the stock has not dried up. You can still find this readily available and the prices are the same. They're unchanged from when it was still in production. So a very affordable niche fragrance, honestly, probably one of the most affordable here on this list. This is coming from the house of Acqua Di Par. This is Colonia Assoluta. And this is such an authentic fragrance. Like, what I mean by that is the notes here smell very realistic. I'm not getting any kind of like synthetic qualities from this at all. My only issue with this really is the performance, very similar to St. Julep. This one I usually get about 4 hours as well. Granted, this is an eau de cologne, so it's not really meant to last a long time. This is something you spray heavy and you reapply, and you can do that because, again, this is fairly affordable for a niche fragrance. Honestly, more affordable than a decent amount of designer fragrances as well. I think you can find a brand new bottle on a discounter for under $100, probably even under $90 if you look in the right place. So a very affordable, realistic smelling niche fragrance. This has a ton of citruses. You get bitter orange, bergamot, and then sweet orange here in the top. There are some herbaceous qualities as well. A little bit of this greenness coming from some lemon verbena, which adds this zestiness, but a little bit of a mature quality as well. But to me, honestly, this is not a really a mature smelling fragrance. This takes the original Colonia, which if you have not tried that fragrance, it is a classic Italian cologne. That one came out in 1916, so it's been around for over a century. That has kind of this old school vibe to it. This takes all of the modern qualities of that fragrance and keeps them, but it kind of removes those older smelling notes and whatnot. So a very modern smelling fragrance, and honestly a little bit youthful in a way. There's kind of this fun quality to it, as weird as that sounds. It's a little bit sweet, coming from that sweet orange and then that cardamom. I think that might be why I kind of get this like fun vibe from it. Nonetheless, it's very pleasant, very refreshing. If you're looking for just a zesty Italian cologne with a modern quality, you should really look into this one. So again, here at the number 5 spot from the house of Acqua Di Par, this is Colonia Assoluta. Up next here at the number 4 spot, we have a fragrance that has made multiple lists on this channel, multiple videos I should say. I really like this thing a lot. This is also the sweetest fragrance here on this list. So if you're looking for a bright, vibrant summer fragrance that has a sweet side to it as well, you should really look into this one right here. This is coming from the house of Byredo. This is Sun-Dazed. And man, does this thing smell so good. I actually got a sample of this. It was just thrown in with a bottle that I purchased, so I didn't even ask for it. I just got lucky and I absolutely fell in love with it. I ended up buying a bottle within a couple of days. I really like this thing a lot. So this honestly has a fairly simple note breakdown. You have mandarin orange and then lemon, there's neroli and then jasmine, and then in the base you have cotton candy. And that is the unique note here. That's the most dominant note to my nose, and that's why this fragrance is so sweet. Of course, they're using some kind of aroma chemical or molecule that is creating this synthetic cotton candy smell, but It smells very authentic, honestly, and it blends with these citruses and these white florals amazingly. This is so uplifting, very fun smelling, kind of similar to the previous fragrance, the Acqua Di Par. I think this is another like fun summer fragrance that is a niche fragrance. Man, I just cannot get over how good this smells. If you're looking for, like I said, a sweet citrusy fragrance with kind of this fresh backbone coming from some florals, those white florals, you should really look into this one. I think this is down the middle unisex, maybe even leaning a little bit feminine. So this is another one that is completely androgynous. So if you're like a guy and you need stuff that is masculine, you're not gonna like this fragrance at all. Nonetheless, I think this smells amazing. I feel very comfortable wearing it because I just enjoy the scent here so much. So again, from the House of Byredo, this one is Sundazed here at the number 4 spot. Here at the number 3 spot, we have a very laid back, relaxing fragrance. Honestly, every time I wear this, it just puts me in a positive mood. Very mellow, very laid back, just good vibes going all around. This one is from the House of Kilian. This is Bamboo Harmony. And I think that's why the name Harmony, or the word harmony, is in the name, just because, you know, it puts you in this harmonious mood. You know, it's very relaxing. That's actually coming from the tea and then the bamboo here, both of which are very calming notes. They put you in this good mood. This thing smells absolutely fantastic and very authentic and high quality smelling. So on top of those notes, you also get neroli, bitter orange, and then bergamot in here. So you do get a vibrant citrusy side, making this great for the warm weather. The neroli here isn't so much like floral as it is soapy, and you kind of get the soapy quality coming from the bitter orange as well. This thing works really nicely. It almost smells like an expensive bar of soap, but not in the same way as like Prada fragrances smell soapy. I don't know, there's just something with this one where it has this soapiness going on. It smells very high quality, very mellow and relaxing with like this green side. This just smells fantastic. This is one that you really have to check out for yourself. It is fairly simple smelling. It doesn't have like a ton of depth or complexity, but what is here is really nice. It works really well and it's very high quality. And honestly, this is probably a fairly underrated fragrance from this house. I don't see it get talked about a ton, but this is an excellent fresh offering from Kilian. It deviates from their normal kind of, you know, gourmand booziness style of fragrances, but it just works and it smells great. So you should really look into this one from the House of Kilian. Again, that is Bamboo Harmony here at the number 3 spot. Up next, we have honestly the best grapefruit fragrance in my collection. I love grapefruit. It's one of my favorite citrusy notes, and here it smells so authentic. It's so well done. This fragrance is absolutely gorgeous. This one is coming from the House of Ormande Jay. This is Montebaco Verano. And if you look at the note breakdown, you would not think this is a fresh fragrance. This has suede, leather, woody notes, tobacco, but you would be wrong, because as many Ormande Jay fragrances, they take these denser notes and they make them very light and airy. They just do it in this amazing fashion that is really hard to do. And absolutely, for me in this fragrance, the grapefruit is front and center. It is a zesty, lightly bitter, but it has this sweet quality to it as well. It's almost like grapefruit that has been sprinkled with like a powdered sugar. So you get this sweet and this bitter quality, very zesty, very vibrant. This smells very authentic as well, like an actual grapefruit. And then you do get kind of these darker notes in the background, but like I said, they're not dense. This smells very light. I think the most dominant to me is the tobacco. Adds kind of this leafiness in a way. It's not like a sickeningly sweet, like cherried tobacco or anything like that, but it's not a smoky tobacco either. It's like a dried pipe tobacco, I guess you could say. And there is kind of this prominent woodiness as well. The leather and the suede, I will admit, I do not get much of that at all. If it's there, it's in a very light fashion. Nonetheless, if you're looking for something that smells like an authentic grapefruit, this is the one to do it. Absolutely fantastic. And I get really good performance from this one as well. So a pretty beast mode fresh fragrance at that. Again, from the House of Ormande Jay, this is Montebaco Verano. And finally, here at the number 1 spot, we have a fragrance from a house that is traditionally known for making kind of gourmand fragrances or just dark, resinous, sweet fragrances, stuff very good for the colder weather. However, this fragrance proves that they know what they're doing with fresh fragrances as well. This one is coming from the House of Parfums de Marly. This is Sedley. And specifically, this is the 2020 formulation. So this is an amazing herbaceous, aromatic, citrusy, woody fragrance. You get mint in here. Again, in this one, it's not like a super in-your-face mint note. It's more of an icy feeling that you can almost feel when you smell it. There are a lot of citruses here. You get lemon, bergamot, grapefruit, and mandarin orange. So it's basically a fruit basket of citruses, very zesty. There's rosemary in here, lavender. You get some ambroxan as well. So it has this herbal side to it as well, this aromatic side. And the ambroxan here, I kind of detect it in the sense you get a faint kind of metallic fuzziness going on, but I really think that more of the ambroxan here is just being used as a longevity booster. For me, this is absolutely beast mode. I get over 12 hours easily when wearing this fragrance. Again, this is the 2020 formulation. I know the original release in 2019 was known for very lackluster performance, so I can only speak to the newer formulations, but this thing is a beast as far as a fresh fragrance. So if you're looking for a long-lasting citrusy fragrance with like an aromatic side, kind of this green touch as well, you should really look into this one. This thing smells so great. I am very much looking forward to wearing this here in this upcoming summer. So again, here at the #1 spot, from the House of Parfums de Marly, this is Sedley. Well, there you guys go. That was my top 10 niche fragrances for the summer of 2021. I really hope you guys enjoyed this list, and if you did, or if you found it helpful or useful, I would really appreciate dropping a like just to show your support, and then that way more people can see my videos on YouTube. Additionally, if you want to write a comment, maybe just let me know your thoughts, as well as some new video ideas or topics, that would be great too. And since you're down there doing all that stuff, if you've not already, if you could hit the subscribe button and then the bell notification, that would be amazing. That way you stay up to date on new videos whenever they get released going forward. But with all that out of the way, that's all I really have for you guys today. So I hope you have a good one. Stay healthy, stay wealthy, and smell great.